Alright, so daily breakdown today. Let's start. Where do we start? Alright, so right here is midnight open. Right there, okay. So we're looking over here. So my prediction pretty much played out almost to a T. Alright, we look here. Remember that. Then we go back here. Look. This is what I had. I had coming down here, hitting that up here, and then this is kind of just bullshit. But the idea was that it was going to stay pretty much within this range and not take this low. And if we go here, it's pretty much what it did. It stayed in this range and didn't take the low. I was expecting it to take these, but it looks like that's going to happen tomorrow. But basically coming in today, there was this SMT here. Okay, so I saw that and I was like, all right, so we should look for buys because once we hit max expansion here, like there's so many tiny MMXMs within a larger one. Like we're in a large bullish one right now, okay? So, and we're looking at a retrace, so we could look for sells or buys. I'm looking for, honestly today you could have had either, but basically after seeing this SMT, I was thinking buys. Now let's bring this a closer look to this leg I drew. This was the first leg of the day I pretty much had my eyes on, because you can see there's SMT here. I originally had it right here, right? So coming into the day, that's what I saw. And you can see it actually does work. There's SMT, it hits that. That's pretty much my model, except I'd rather see this take the low than have that happen. But anyway, and that delivered like 51 points, which is that's more than enough. Yeah, it takes out this high here, which is where I would TP. So gets the job done, blah blah. So there's that coming into the day, and then we have this chop, which I was expecting a lot of chop today. But anyway, I had this leg still. I didn't really want to draw any more legs. I really wanted to stay focused on this one. And you can see we kind of, this is a PD raise. These are both 1 hour PD raise, I think. I think they're both 1 hour FPGs. Yeah, because there wasn't any 4 hour ones. But you can see price comes in here, hits max expansion off this. It does get a little reaction. I was sleeping at this time because I had a haircut at 7. So I came back here and I literally watched all this for like an hour and a half and I said, this is a bunch of bullshit. So I just went back to bed and woke up at like 1. But basically then I missed all this. So we hit that. There's no SMT yet, okay? So keep that in mind. SMT is very important. We have session low. A session low, very, very important, okay? And this is the second day in a row that it's been very important. So you can see here that the last bit of it right here, or the last part of this leg, the 4.5, gets hit here. Okay, so let's put this here. You can see it gets here, it hits our PD array, and even more important, it creates this SMT here. Okay, so there's SMT there because you can see ES didn't take that until later. So it didn't take Asia low until later. So once you see kind of this, you want to see a little confirmation from SMT. You can't just blindly enter off SMT. Once you see, this giant wick here, and it's starting to move up, you could try to limit that. You wouldn't get tapped in, but honestly, probably just wait for a little reaction here, and then enter maybe off this candle close and do a 10-point stop. So yeah, you could do something like this, and you can see price doesn't get back in here, so then you could target this high here, or draw a standard deviation and use that, but that looks way too high. so I wouldn't have used that. Um, but that's one possible trade. SMT into a standard deviation zone into a PD array. SMT, yeah, that's pretty basic. Like, that's a good trade. But when I was looking at it more today, I was like, um, honestly, you could use this leg too, right? Because I scaled up to 3 minute, and that's cool. I scaled up to 3 minute, and I was like, all right, that's actually more obvious. So then I look more into it, and you can see max expansions right here. You can see price tap into max expansion, soup this low that was made from SMT, right? This low, and unfortunately, there was no SMT from that. Otherwise, that would have been like a really valid trade if there was SMT there. But you can see it soup this low. Let's get rid of that. Right? So soups that low, hits the 3.5, goes into our rejection zone pretty much. And honestly, there might have been SMT here. Alright, what the fuck? It was right here, right? 10:55. Alright, so there's was not SMT. Yeah, so that's a deal breaker for me. I would not have entered off that. But that's really beautiful. EL, like it comes down here. Once it gets down here, and once you see this low form and like a 15-minute close, right? So you get a 15-minute close, probably a 30-minute close too. You get that right before our standard deviation zone, our max expansion, you can go ahead and limit that. Like that would be a good limit if you limit it right here. 10-point stop, right? Like that's a good trade right there. And you could target these equal highs up here. That's 100 points. Like that's low of day right there. But like you can see how price trades throughout the day with midnight. Like SMT above midnight delivered lower, SMT below it delivered higher, SMT once again below midnight went higher, and then we did get a retrace back into it. But I mean, today literally went exactly how I said it would. Literally minus that. So basically, what that's telling us that we didn't take that means that we will be hitting it tomorrow with news. We want to see what pre-market does in London, because London could come down here and take this, and news could just be distribution, so it could just distribute higher and take all these highs, or you could have London fuck around and then have our manipulation lower and then come back up here and take these highs. So tomorrow, yeah, pretty basic. Two options. First being London or Asia, and then London, and then New York. Either react off max expansion or even fill it completely, and then go up there, right, and take these highs. So that's one example. Or option two, London opens here and fills this, and then we get a New York open somewhere below here, S&T with that low, and then news just taking us higher. So those are my two things today. I don't think we'll take these highs before we take this, because we have a draw of liquidity on both sides, but I really think we'll take this first, because ultimately price wants to go higher. But yeah, I mean, today was honestly, it was choppy, but it was manageable. And I guess you could probably have another standard deviation leg right here. But at this point, it's getting pretty close to PM, and I wouldn't trade this, but I can already tell this would have been a good trade. Because once again, check our max expansion. Yep, look at that. And this is an important leg because this is the leg that finished the MMXM, the one that went into the max expansion. This leg is not important, right? This leg doesn't matter at all. Even though, yes, I mean, okay, so that top ticked it too, but still, the important thing is this is the leg that went into our max expansion, the one that brought the sell side of the curve to the buy side of the curve, right? And you can see we already finished this MMXM2. And you can have another one, and then the cycle continues, and you look at your drawn liquidity, and that's pretty much all I trade right there. Look at our drawn liquidity, look at our MMXM, PO3, all that, just to see what price wants to do and how it's going to move and when it's going to move here. And that's pretty much it. This kind of helps sometimes. Like you can see, this is the accumulation of the day, this is the manipulation. So when you see this, you can infer that this is going to reach higher and even take this out. Because usually when you get manipulation one way, the expansion takes out the high of the manipulation. But yeah, a little bit of a lengthy one today, but I wanted to go over why this happened. And yeah, and tomorrow FOMC, Thursday unemployment claims. But yeah, tomorrow once again, just that right there. And that's it.